I think that's the real revelation for the American people is they were using their own Russian dirt to ask questions, and it was all fake. It was all phony the whole time, and the press was in on this too. It's the cover-up. And I think that's the main thing is now you're starting to see the pieces of the cover-up that I think are actually more important.
That, of course, is Congressman Devin Nunes on the newly released transcripts from the House Intel Committee's Russia investigation. Nunes saying the transcripts show the entire inquiry was based on a bogus premise. Republicans now calling out the chairman, Adam Schiff, who repeatedly said he had seen evidence the Trump campaign colluded with the Kremlin to win the 2016 election. New York GOP Congressman Lee Zeldin joins us now. He, of course, serves on the Foreign Affairs and Financial Services Committee. Congressman, good morning.
Good morning.
Your thoughts on what, if anything, you can do to hold Adam Schiff accountable?
Well, Adam Schiff should not be the chair of the House Intelligence Committee. His gavel should be removed. He should be censured. He should resign. There's a lot that should happen, but Nancy Pelosi isn't going to punish Adam Schiff. In fact, that's the reason why he has the gavel in the first place. He's the chair of the House Intelligence Committee, which became the House Impeachment Committee because of the way he writes these fairy tale parodies. Because of the Russia investigation, then it became the impeachment push. It's actually one that the Democrats reward. It's one that the media rewards. So I'm not going to expect any repercussions, even though he should resign today.
Congressman, what about this parade of former Obama officials who were on various networks adding to what Adam Schiff said? They said there was collusion. They knew that there was. They were worried about Michael Flynn. They were worried about all these different things. They said that in public, and then they went under oath to the Intelligence Committee. And as you know, now we see these transcripts that show they said something quite differently behind closed doors. They said, no, we never saw evidence of collusion. How did they get away with that?
They shouldn't get away with it. And the fact is right now, as all these transcripts get released, you have other networks that aren't giving this the attention that they should after spending years dumbing down their audience with what was a total fraud. Now they should be correcting the record to let people know what's true and what's not true, but it's wholly embarrassing. They will take down their own network trying to correct 3 years of stories. So you have people like Clapper, Power, Rice. They all come to testify under oath, and they say that basically the intelligence community doesn't have any evidence that President Trump's campaign colluded with the Russians. Now, you come to Congress and you lie, that's a crime. But in the case of Adam Schiff, if you are a member of Congress, you get away with it. And in the case of these three names that I mentioned, they get away with saying on networks what they might be saying, and then under oath in a closed-door skiff, they end up contradicting themselves in the entire narrative.
A lot of people watch it and think folks in the media who got it wrong, there's no accountability. They watch and they see some folks like Adam Schiff, maybe, as you noted a moment ago, there's not much you can really do about what he was saying in public. But in terms of the former Obama officials, there is John Durham out there, this independent prosecutor who's looking at all of this and the FISA warrants and all of that. Here's your colleague, Devin Nunes. We played him a moment ago. Here he is on what John Durham might be looking at. Watch.
I think the bigger issue is the conspiracy. Who was doing the spying? Okay, let's just call that spying. Who orchestrated all of this well before July 30th of 2016? That's a key date to remember. Who continued the spying? Right. Who decided it was okay to run all these people into George Papadopoulos and others? These are all questions that we have outstanding for John Durham.
On top of that, you now have former President Barack Obama weighing in, as you heard Sandra mention a moment ago. Is it going to lead to the question about what Joe Biden knew as well? He was the vice president.
It should. And now Joe Biden wants to become president of the United States. Absolutely. These are relevant questions regardless of Joe Biden running for president of the United States. Listen, Devin Nunes has been a warrior through this. He has been roasted for years. He had to recuse himself from this investigation, even though he had more facts and he was ready to tell the American public the truth. He was getting run out of town primarily because of that. The Houston Astros they've been roasted for that whole sign stealing scandal. And if you want to draw analogies as to what consequences are right with other aspects of our life and the way our world works, what should happen here is that Pulitzer Prizes should be revoked. People have made millions off of this. They have a name because of this. Now, it's really important for Durham with his investigation for him to actually be delivering accountability and transparency. People don't want to just get their hopes up, to have their expectations rise, and then it be deflated with no one being held accountable for what happened. We want answers as to who knew what, but we also want to see there be accountability for this, for the going for the FISA warrants, and for what happened with Michael Flynn. And listen, I remember 2 years ago, I was on Erin Burnett's show on CNN, and she was giving me a hard time, claiming that Peter Strzok had nothing to do at all with the Russia investigation, the Michael Flynn investigation. I mean, she's trying to lecture me on it. This is a time for us to be correcting the record, not just with Fox doing your job as you do, and you have done this entire time, but especially these other networks that made money off of this, dumbing down their audience.
Well, and the Flynn documents now show Peter Strzok, as you know, which was your point, obviously, it was right in the middle of the Flynn case. Bottom line, we've got less than 30 seconds. We're waiting on whether this federal judge is going to agree with the Justice Department and essentially drop the case against Flynn. What's your gut? Is there a chance here the federal judge puts a pause on it and says, hang on, because of the comments from Barack Obama and others?
This judge should be dropping the case. That's justice. That's liberty. That's freedom. On the side of the Department of Justice, it says when law ends, tyranny begins. The right thing, and the judge knows what the right thing to do, it's to allow General Michael Flynn to go on with his life. He was my first brigade commander on active duty. I was proud to serve with him then. I'll be proud to serve with him again. This case should be dropped.
Congressman, we certainly thank you for your service to this country. We appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, Ed.